In this video, we are going to talk about Jasmy, some of its recent price action, the important support and resistance areas, and where we can expect the price of Jasmy to go in the next few days and weeks. So we'll look at the weekly chart, and what we can see right here is that Jasmy is still very clearly in a downtrend. It has been in a downtrend since the start of 2025, really. It has had a very significant high back in late 2024. Back then, we had a mini alt season across the entire altcoin market, but since then, it has been dumping very aggressively, and recently, it has been in some sort of a consolidation. The volatility of Jasmy has been pretty low in the last couple of months. This is something that we've seen in other altcoins as well. Most of the altcoin market has had a relatively low volatility recently. Such low levels of volatility are not very typical for the crypto market, which is known for being incredibly volatile and hectic. But as you can see, Jasmy has basically been at the same price since February. It is now at very similar levels to where it was all the way back in late 2023 and early 2024. Back then, when Jasmy was at these levels, it then led to it getting a very significant rally, which eventually led to this very significant high in late 2024. As you can see, 2024 has been an incredible year for Jasmy, going up about 10x. But of course, since then it dumped a lot and it is now back down at these levels. So since Jasmy is back at this level, can it get a similar rally to what we've seen back in 2024? Well, long story short, in my opinion, the answer is no, at least not for now. If Bitcoin crosses 80k, 90k, maybe even 100k, who knows, then that could lead to many altcoins doing well, and Jasmy could be one of them. But I think that's a very optimistic scenario and not very likely at the moment. I still think that Bitcoin will eventually continue dumping, and even if Bitcoin does get a pretty significant relief rally and continues going up, most altcoins will still lag behind it and do not do so well. What we've seen in recent weeks shows that we've seen Bitcoin get a pretty significant rally from around 60k to over 75k, and still Jasmy and many other altcoins have not been doing so well, especially the low market cap altcoins like Jasmy. The smaller of a market cap the altcoin has, the more it tends to lag behind Bitcoin. So I think that it is a much more likely outcome that Jasmy will just continue consolidating or potentially even dumping further. And once Bitcoin continues its dump, potentially to lower than 60k, because I think that we are still in a bear market, as I said, then Jasmy will likely break down below this level and continue dumping a lot further. And I think that a new major high for Jasmy is still very far away, and really for Jasmy to cross this previous high from late 2024, it could be a matter of years or potentially even never happen. I don't want to be too pessimistic, but I do think that it's definitely possible that Jasmy never crosses this level again, or at least if it does, then it will require a major alt season in the entire altcoin market, and this is pretty far away in my opinion. It would be a lot more likely if we are back in a bull market and Bitcoin crosses into new all-time highs and we see a very significant alt season. And in my opinion, this scenario is still very far away from happening at the moment. Right now, what I would look out for is for Jasmy to cross this area of around 1 cent. If it does do that, then it could potentially get a significant rally. The next significant resistance area would be around here, this area of around 0.017 or so. This has been a pretty significant area of both support and resistance. So this would be the next area to look out for. A rally from around 1 cent to that area would be a rally of 70%. So there are definitely still opportunities with Jasmy as well as many other altcoins. But in my opinion, the structure of Jasmy is still not looking too great, and I think that it's a lot more likely that it will just continue dumping further. And also, as I said, I'm not too optimistic about the altcoin market as a whole at the moment. So, of course, this is not financial advice whatsoever, but at the moment, I would avoid being into Jasmy and heavy into altcoins in general. As I've said many times on this channel in recent weeks, I think that it's probably better to be mostly into Bitcoin and Ethereum and avoid most altcoins. So that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it and you want more updates about Jasmy as well as other altcoins, make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.